Well, backed by popular demand is Paul Levy, the Product Spotlight Specialist, Category Manager from Brownells. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Jake. How's it going?
It's going great. Love doing these product spotlights. We're getting more and more viewers on YouTube and everywhere else, so I think we're bringing people some good information. At least I'd like to.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I hope so, too.
Well, this week we have a pretty innovative product, the MGW Site Mover.
Yep. MGW's been making site movers for quite a while. That's what they're really best known for. But they've always been proprietary to a specific gun. They do one gun, and they move the sights on that one gun very well. They're robust. They don't flex. They're just good site movers. And they actually just came out with a universal site mover, the Site Pro, and it's pretty impressive. And I actually used it yesterday, and it looks intimidating. It's intended for gunsmiths and armorers, as you can see it there. It looks intimidating when you just see this contraption, but it's very effective.
Yeah, it's way bigger than I pictured it being.
Oh, yeah. It's just built like a tank. But for gunsmiths and armorers, they're going to be doing a lot of different slides, removing sights and rear sights and front sights from various firearms.
Right.
It's a fantastic tool. You don't have to worry about finicking with little Allen screws to get everything tweaked just right. I removed and installed Glock sights yesterday, and it was surprisingly easy. As with any gunsmith tool or supply, I recommend reading the instructions first. This has great instructions with it. And MGW put together a great YouTube video as well. I'd check that out. Explains everything clearly, concisely, what this tool can do, what's recommended for, what you shouldn't do with the tool. But of course, the great thing about this tool is that it's universal. Like I said, MGW in the past made gun-specific site movers. This one, the part that makes this universal is this shoe right here. That can be swapped out, and that rides right inside of your specific firearm, its slide. That supports the interior of the slide, and these screws on the side support the exterior of the slide. So I'll demonstrate that real quick. It's kind of difficult to see what's going on here with just seeing a picture of this. But I brought along the Glock slide, which I surprisingly didn't mess up last night. This tool works really well.
So you can mount this tool in your bench vise, right?
Yes. You can do it by hand, which is actually fairly simple. But there's flats here on the side that allow you to mount it in your vise so that you can manipulate it with both hands. You don't have to be holding it with one, working with the other. But okay. It's surprisingly fairly straightforward to use with just one hand once you get working with it. So I got my slide here. I'll insert this. And again, their YouTube video is going to do a much better job, MGW's, on how to properly use this. Again, if you buy the tool, check that out. You'll see here the slide just inserts onto that Slight shoe. You can see that there, just right on the interior.
So it basically provides rails for your slide to slide.
Pretty much. That mimics the frame rails. So that'll slide in, and then you'll line the slide up, the rear sight, with the mover up above.
So the mover stays the same for all of them, right?
Correct. Unless you're using a Glock angled rear sight, then you'll want to buy the specific mover for that. We do offer a specific angled pusher. For every other handgun, you can just buy the with flat sides on the rear side anyways. You can just buy the shoe, and you'll be good to go. So if I was to remove this sight, I just insert the slide like so, tighten the bottom portion here, which tightens up the lower shoe, and then tighten up these side grommets or screws. And those apply pressure to the sides of the slide. And you don't have to be excessive. It's just holding the slide snug.
Right, and it has nice big knobs to turn.
Oh, yeah.
Easy to turn by hand.
They're nice, large knobs. The threads are large. You're not going to cross-thread these. It operates very smoothly. This is a beautifully machined piece. So when the top lowers, this top's removable, so it's easy to insert slides. I just did it quickly here for demonstration. But you'll see this Delrin piece inside. You see that white large cylinder?
Yeah, it makes contact to the top of the slide too.
Yep, that makes contact with the slide so that the mover itself does not run into your slide. So you're not, when you go to screw it on, you're not just gouging your slide as you go to push the rear side off. So that prevents that.
Like I do when I use a hammer and screwdriver to put a slide on.
Yeah. It can be adjusted, but it's set from the factory to be just slightly above the rear height sight, or the plane of the slide. So it's set from the factory for same plane, but you can adjust it up and down as necessary. Some front sights especially will need that adjusted, but for most slides it can be left as the default setting. So if I was to remove this rear sight, I'd tighten the top bracket down. Again, this is snug too. The lower screws are tightened, and then all you have to do is line this up with the rear sight, and then screw and push it off.
Line the pusher up, and it pushes it right off.
Yep, and pushes it right off. It's easy to use. Of course, you don't want to force it. If like some slides, especially XDs, they're pressed on with a hydraulic press from the factory.
Right.
You're probably not going to get them off with this. It's not recommended you get them off with this. Go ahead, and you're going to want to do that by traditional methods. Use a hammer and a punch, a big hammer probably, and go that route. Glocks, it's simple to install and remove. Both set. Well, the rear side on a Glock, that's all you have to worry about. But it's a really impressive tool. It's for a universal tool. There's no flex. Everything works and lines up amazingly well. I was very impressed.
Sure, and the main thing I think that makes it so appealing is that it is universal, and you can get slide shoes for the Glock, well, like the XDS, the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, 1911s. Let's see here, FNs, SIGs. So, I mean, really, this is, even if you're maybe a gunsmith hobbyist, this is a good choice for you.
Yeah. If you find yourself buying multiple handguns and you're swapping out sights on a regular basis, this is not a bad investment by any means. But if you're a different armors, it'll pay off early.
Because a gun-specific tool like this is, over $100, sometimes close to $200. And so you're getting a universal sight tool that you can buy the shoes for later for whatever guns you're going to want for. Well, right now it's $329.99. So I mean that's less than the price of buying two gun-specific sight tools.
And the sight and the slide shoes themselves, they're $17.99. Here's an XD one. So say I've got nothing but Glocks now, but you know what? Next year I'll buy an XD. Want new sights? Oh, there you go. I can already swap out the sights on it. So,
yeah, or go in with your buddies and buy one together.
Yeah, it's a well-made tool. It's for gunsmiths and armors. This is a no-brainer. Like everything from MGW, it's made well. It's very impressive. They make really good stuff.
Well, and just like everything else, Brownell's 100% satisfaction and lifetime returns. So can't go wrong with that.
Yep.
Well, thanks, Paul, so much for sharing that this week on the Gun Guy Radio Product Spotlight. And we'll see you next week.
All right, see you then.
Oh, and if you're watching this video, in the upper right-hand corner, you can check the direct link to find this product immediately.